Well, thank you for joining us. Like Sue said, we see a lot of new faces and some of our best friends and board members are on. So thanks for joining us today. We have a really great program planned. First, we'd like to introduce our board. A good part of us are on. I think Michelle's about to join us, but I'm Jerry Burton. I'm the co-executive director of Nevada Now. I'm in charge of programs and the coalition coordinator. Sue Birch is the co-executive director with me. She does the legislative and PAC coordinator. I think that you do a lot, Sue. So all that, but we all do a lot. Eva is our director of membership and volunteer coordinator. Madalena Robertson, she's in DC right now, but she is our director of technology and media. She does all of our graphics and helps with our website. Sarah Evans, who will be speaking today, is our director for fundraising. Michelle Maese is our director for outreach. I see her just joining. Hey, Michelle. Laura Campbell is our director for actions. She'll be the other when we're on our program today. Samantha Glover is our director for youth outreach. She's in Virginia now, but she's not going away. She's going to stay with us. So helping us with youth outreach and helping us with, we just had a Western District meeting and she's going to help try to get youth outreach around our Western District now chapters. So, and Lenore Briley is our treasurer. And I don't know if Lenore is on or not, but she's been a longtime treasurer of Now. So we're going to start our program. I'm going to turn it over to Sarah and Laura, and they'll be introducing our speakers and letting you know more about what Nevada Now is working on and some of our events that are coming up. I don't know who's going first. Sarah has a plan.
I got you, Jerry. All right, guys, thank you again so much for coming today. We really, really appreciate you all, and I'm really excited to see so many new faces. But before we talk about what's going to be happening with Nevada Now, I wanted to quickly highlight some of the things that have been done in the past. You know, we're very, very proud to have been one of the community partners to help push over the Equal Rights Amendment for the Nevada State Constitution. You know, now it's something that is very predominant. You know, like we are the state that has the most inclusive equal rights language in the entire country. So we might not be first in a lot of things, but we are first in equal rights. And the language states, regardless of race, color, creed, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, age, disability, ancestry, or national origin. So you all can be very proud of the state of Nevada. And we were able to do this because of our relationship building with community partners, as well as with elected officials. We went to a whole bunch of really fun parties, a lot of parades, a lot of house parties, you know, but we really worked together. We came together when we most needed it. A lot of phone calls, a lot of knocking on doors. But now it's on to the next. You all know the effort it took to pass the most inclusive state equal rights amendments last year. Now we plan on putting in the same amount of effort to get the reproductive healthcare ballot initiative on the ballot and passed in 2024. So we're going to need everybody on this call to help join us, to help us knock on doors, to help us educate the public. However, if we're asking for your help, first we want to educate you about what this bill and the initiative is, and that's why we have two amazing guests with us today. And I'm super proud to get to introduce Luiza Benisano. I'm so sorry if I butchered your last name. Please forgive me.
That's okay.
That did not work out well. But she graduated from the University of Nevada, Reno, studied journalism with an emphasis on strategic communications. And she joined Planned Parenthood Votes in Nevada in 2023 as the campaign and community engagement manager. So I'm going to hand over the floor to our most amazing speaker, and you guys enjoy.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to go ahead and share my PowerPoint presentation real quick. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Luiza Benisano, and I'm the Campaigns and Community Engagement Manager for Planned Parenthood Votes Nevada. And today I'm going to talk about our constitutional amendment, what it is, the purpose, our goals, and how you can get involved. But before that, I'd like to give a little bit of background about us. So Planned Parenthood Votes Nevada is a statewide, nonpartisan 501c4 nonprofit organization that advocates and educates on issues of reproductive health care, with special consideration for advancing equitable access to abortion in an effort to empower all Nevadans, no matter income, race, gender, sexuality, or immigration status, to maintain and expand access to quality health care. All right, so just to give a little bit of a brief overview, in 1973, Roe v. Wade was the landmark decision by the US Supreme Court that legalized abortion, which made it easier to access. And now, with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, that ended a constitutional right. And so I'd like to just show you all a quick video on the current abortion landscape and where we're at. I'll stop sharing this. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right, perfect, thanks. Okay, so I'm just gonna play this.
Back to abortion. The Dobbs decision caused immediate confusion and panic, especially in states that had trigger laws already on the books, which kicked in almost immediately, causing chaos for both patients and abortion providers.
As soon as we heard the decision, we closed everything down, leaving over 70 women in Wisconsin with appointments that we weren't able to do for them.
I remember asking, when is the law going to change? How much time do we have to get ready for it? And I started to text back and say, the law has actually changed right now.
You know, we called patients. It's like, I'm already on my way. And they thought, well, I'm already on my way. It'll be okay. And it's like, no, it's immediate. It's immediate.
Look, someone cancelling plans when you're already on your way is annoying in any circumstance, but it is different when that plan is an abortion. If dinner plans fall through, that is a bummer, but at least it won't end with something alienating out of your body, unless that is, you reschedule that dinner to Long John Silver's. Now, thankfully, abortion remains legal in many states, so at least theoretically, someone needing one can travel to one of those states instead. But as this doctor points out, in practice, that can be incredibly difficult.
We have such inequality that for some it's as easy as, okay, let's take a weekend trip to Colorado to get your abortion. And for someone else, it's a completely life-altering thing that you have no control over and you're forced to give birth. The trajectory of those two people's lives are completely different.
It's true, for many, traveling across state lines isn't feasible even before you consider that in states where abortion remains legal, it is not like they've had a sudden surge in providers to handle out-of-state patients. So there are now significant backlogs, meaning that women who travel to another state may have more difficulty getting appointments, and it may even become hard for those living in some states where it remains legal, which clearly isn't great. Abortion isn't one of those things that you can keep putting off indefinitely, like taking up pottery or figuring out who these guys are and why they're like that. I say this with zero malice, by the way. They seem very wholesome. I just don't really understand what their whole deal is. I am going to get around to it, but to be honest, it's not a priority. And some are resorting to drastic measures. Listen to this woman who did manage to get across state lines to New Mexico for an abortion. Describe what's happened to her friends who weren't able to.
What would you have done if you couldn't come to New Mexico for an abortion?
God, who knows? Because I was already asking people like, hey, what could I do? I've known some women to just kind of take it into their own hands and do like their own abortion. Like I had a friend tell me she drank a cap of bleach, you know. I had another woman tell me, girl, like just take a whole bunch of vitamin C.
Listen, there are a lot of very good secret tips that women rightly share with each other, like bananas are good for cramps, or lipstick works as blush in a pinch, or block Coach Brett from your Instagram stories. But drink bleach or vitamin C to end a pregnancy isn't one of them. And unfortunately, dangerous measures like those may now become more common as anti-abortion activists have no intention of stopping their push for restrictions. For example, they're also going after medication abortions, which are estimated to make up half of all abortions. A lawsuit to revoke the FDA's approval of mifepristone, one of 2 key drugs in medication abortions, is currently working its way through the courts. And if that were to succeed, it wouldn't just impact states with abortion bans, it would affect access across the entire country. So abortion law in America is currently a complete clusterfuck, with many confused and others considering drinking bleach. And yet, the people who wrote and passed these laws, like this Texas state legislator, will insist that it's all worth it based on who, precisely and exclusively, they protect.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people who would have chosen to have an abortion now don't have that choice.
That's right.
What do you say to those people?
Those are thousands and thousands of little babies that are now alive. We are a very safe place for little babies.
What about women?
We are a very safe space for women as well.
Oh, see, you nearly said the quiet part out loud there, didn't you? Also, it is a pretty sad state of affairs when, but what about women, genuinely counts as a gotcha question. Because for the record, abortion bans are objectively not safe for women and can needlessly put them through absolute hell. Take what happened to this woman in Texas, whose ultrasound not only revealed no chance of survival for the fetus, but also potential.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint real quick. Okay, so as you can see, the Dobbs decision has made a number of challenges on abortion access. As you've seen on the video, there is a threat of a federal abortion ban, and their ways of going about it is from revoking mifepristone, and which accounts for half of abortion in the US. And if this succeeds, it will affect access throughout the country. As of today, 22 states have abortions or restrictions in place, including states bordering Nevada, such as Idaho, Utah, and Arizona. And as you've also heard in the video, it's not like we've had a surge of health providers all of a sudden in states where abortion is still legal. So of course, there's an increase in patient volume from states with abortion bans and worsening health outcomes for pregnant people. So not only is that happening nationally, but it's also happening right here. So this is from a news article from Planned Parenthood of Rocky Mountains, talking about their health centers in Las Vegas. So they've said that there's been an influx of patients, and about half of their patients now travel in from other states. Wait times fluctuate each week, but the overall trend is that wait times are getting longer. And although patients' needs are met, health centers will struggle to manage demand in the long term. Independent abortion providers in Nevada has also noted similar trends. Many patients coming out of state are white, confirming these abortion bans are going to have on health disparities in Black, Indigenous, Latinx communities. There's also been the whole issue with the crisis pregnancy centers in Nevada, wherein Lombardo removed warning language on CPCs on the Department of Health and Human Services website, making it easier for CPCs to prey on people who want to get an abortion. So with the current abortion landscape and what's going on right now, it is important to protect and expand reproductive freedom, and it's of vital importance.
Hey, Luiza, real quick, could I ask you to explain what CPCs are for people that might not be aware of what they are?
Sure. Yes. So CPCs are crisis pregnancy centers, and basically that they're organizations that seek to intercept women considering abortion. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right back in. So our constitutional amendment, so what it would do is protect not just the right to abortion, but a person's privacy and right to obtain birth control, prenatal care, childbirth, postnatal care, vasectomy, tubal ligation, miscarriage management, and infertility care. So the goal would be to provide further support and expand for all Nevadans' ability to access reproductive health care and to establish a permanent right to all forms of reproductive health care in Nevada. Okay, so you may ask why we've decided to do this now, and there are a few things. So for one, Nevada statutory protections are more than 30 years old, and we do have the right to modern abortion protections and landscapes. Past presidents and anti-abortion lawmakers have also already put aggressive abortion bans in place. And we have to remember that Nevada is a purple state, and we don't know what that could look like for our future. We don't know if people who are going to sit in the office one day are going to protect reproductive rights. And so that would add a layer of protection. National bans can also possibly supersede protections in Nevada. So the constitutional amendment would add a layer of legal protection. And the last thing that's important for us to remember is our decisions about our healthcare should be between us and our provider, and the constitutional amendment would protect us from government outreach in our reproductive healthcare decisions. So here are some ways that you can get involved. You can volunteer for the Nevadans for Reproductive Freedom ballot table by visiting nv4reprofreedom.org to sign up. So we are going to be doing signature gatherings sometime in January of 2024, and we're still working on finalizing training dates. But if you sign up, you'll get all the latest updates on when we'll be able to roll everything out. You can also make a donation to our ballot campaign by visiting nv4reprofreedom.org. I'm sorry, nv4reprofreedom.org/donate. And of course, vote in support of our constitutional amendment. Great. Thank you so much for your time. If you'd like more information, please feel free to visit our websites, nv4reprofreedom.org and ppvotesnv.org. I also have my contact information up here on the slides, but feel free to contact me for any questions, and I'll make sure that I also put this on the chat right now.
Thank you so much, Luiza. That was great. I think what's going to happen in the next, I guess, year is we really want to work on a lot of information regarding reproductive health, so that everybody, when this ballot comes to because everyone's going to get like the paper ballot and get all the information, they know like, hey, this is something I talked to someone about, and this is important, and this affects everybody. Oh, I see someone's hand raised. I'm gonna go ahead and Kathy, go ahead and ask the question.
Thank you. I was wondering if the judge in Texas that got the mifepristone case has already ruled on it that you have to have it by prescription now instead of just being able to get it. So if that continues to work its way through court and they decide that the FDA didn't have the right to approve that as a measure, even if we do the amendment, how is that mifepristone ban going to work for the women who need to have abortion services?
That is a great question. From my understanding, I think they're still going to have a hearing about it sometime in early 2024. But I don't actually know how that would come into play with our constitutional amendment here. So that's a fantastic question, and that's something I will check in with my other colleagues at Planned Parenthood, and maybe be able to give you a better answer on that. But that's fantastic. Thank you for asking that.
Kathy, if you send Luiza your email in the chat, I think that'll also be very helpful, and she'll be able to reach back out to you with the information that you wanted. So let me get my notes back up. Okay, so Nevada now has worked really hard with partners, with amazing community partners like ACLU, Reproductive Freedom for All, Nevada, formerly known as NARAL, and Planned Parenthood, and to form this coalition. And as we learned, passing the ERA coalitions are very important to successful campaign. Our next guest is, I just missed my notes, sorry, is Luiza Benisano. Nope, that's not it. Sorry. I'm looking at my notes and I totally just missed it. Sorry, Liliana. Sorry. So our next guest is Liliana Trejo Vanegas. She is with Reproductive Freedom for All, and she also has a presentation for us in regards to the ballot initiative. Liliana, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So I just wanted to let you all know a little bit about me. I actually started out as I've been a freelance photographer for many years here in Las Vegas with a ton of progressive organizations like Nevada Now, ACLU, Planned Parenthood. So you might recognize me more if I had a camera in front of my face. But I recently took on a role as the Nevada organizer for Reproductive Freedom for All, formerly known as NARAL. And with our big rebranding that we had this last month, it had to do with reminding people that reproductive freedom is so much more than just abortion care, right? And it's everything that Luiza has already explained to us, that this fight for what we're going to codify into our state constitution is going to be so much more than just abortion care, and it's going to be life-changing and life-impacting care for so many people in Nevada. And again, it's just so beautiful to see so many amazing feminists that are looking to become empowered to spread the word on this amazing chance that we have to truly make history in not only just the state of Nevada, but for all the people that might need this care, right, in the United States, seeing as how it's looking a little grim in other places. So Nevadans for Reproductive Freedom has hired a firm to help collect signatures. They will have 4 offices across Nevada, 1 for each congressional district. So now is a really good time to find out what your congressional district is. I actually was in the wrong. I thought that Dina Titus was still my representative. And I was like a diehard, like, no, Dina Titus is my representative. I know, because this is what I've known for 10 years, right? And suddenly, lo and behold, surprise, my representative is actually now Stephen Horsford, which is super cool, but it was, a little bit of a surprise for me. So now would be a good time to look up on whoismyrep.com to see who your representative is, because when you are asked to sign this for this referendum, for this petition, you will need to know your congressional district. So that's something that may be a cool little icebreaker for you and your friends to be like, hey, I know my congressional district. Do you know yours? So anyway, we will have 4 offices across Nevada, 1 for each congressional district. When those are open, probably around January, we will be able to host training and volunteer sessions there. So we are going to ensure that this is an issue that we cover all across, the Las Vegas Valley and all across Southern Nevada and in Northern Nevada as well. So definitely don't feel, scared to be like, oh, like, what if it's a place that's too far from my home? Because we're going to ensure that this is a fight that is for all Nevadans and not just for some and, certain places of town and whatever. Like, this really is a fight for all of us. So I was going to have a PowerPoint presentation, but then I found out that we didn't have the capabilities on here to do breakout rooms, but it's okay because I'll still give you the rundown, and we will have another training, I'm sure, probably in partnership with NOW. But one of the most important roles that you will have as activists while we gather 200,000 signatures, which sounds daunting, but it really isn't when you realize how many amazing partners we have in this fight, right? So I will need all of you to be brave enough to share your stories, to create a connection that compels others to want to add their name to this referendum. Your stories are going to have the power to drive political action, and stories help us build community and establish solidarity. And it begins with your story of self. This can be a moment that caused you to become an activist, or a story of how access to reproductive health care would help you, your loved ones, or someone in your community. Something that I want you all to remember moving forward is that your story truly matters. I've seen this as a volunteer myself, that a lot of times people don't want to hear, just broad statistics and percentages of like, this percentage of people believe in this, and, we really need this care for this. I think people need more of a personal story, and it is something very vulnerable that, that you are being asked to do. But I can tell you from personal experience that that is what really enacts change in people and is able to move them to see your side of the story, right? And see why this is important, not just maybe it doesn't impact them, but it will impact someone in their community. So something that I want you all to remember moving forward is that your stories truly matter again. So in times that you might feel like you can't create change alone, that your stories aren't that meaningful, I want you to keep these affirmations in your heart. My story is needed. My story has impact, and other people want to hear my story. So if anyone would want to have a one-on-one with me to figure out how to create their story of self, that's kind of like a shorter elevator pitch, something that they can share, whether it be in person or on social media, because we know that this is something that is very important, that we might be able to persuade people via social media. Be sure to let me know. I will put my contact information in the chat. And yeah, thank you again so much for letting me be here.
Thank you, Liliana. Thank you for taking your time to speak with us. You know, the whole concept of sharing your story is so important. I speak an example, like just last night, I had a dinner party with some of my closest friends, people that I've like grown up with. And they were at like saying, kind of catching up, like what we've been up to. They asked about like, oh, how's it going? How's everything going with, Planned Parenthood and Nevada Now? And I was like, well, this amendment is gonna take up most of my time in the next few months. And I think and I was like, this is gonna be like the fight, like the fight of my life. And they're like, yeah, that's crazy. And I was like, yeah, just in April, I got pregnant even though my tubes are tied. And they all like blank face. They're like, what? And I go, well, they came untied. My doctor said I should play the lottery. And I don't want any more children. I have 2 beautiful children that I love with all my heart, but it was a very intense and difficult road to get him here. And I decided that I'm good, and so I was able to get the abortion pill, and I medicated, and that's how I was able to end my pregnancy. And I was telling them how safe it was, and I was like, I felt very comfortable taking it. I had the resources and whatnot. Everyone was like, wow, we never thought that could happen. So I think just sharing my story, that like, hey, like, although I took the measures to be safe and not have children anymore because I chose to not have children anymore, I still got pregnant, but I had the choice to what was said, what I chose to my body and what happened. So I think that is so, the more I share my story, it kind of gives it a different perspective. And it's so, I think it's so gratifying. And they were like, well, let us know what we need to do. Like, can we donate? Like, and I was like, hey, I was like, don't worry, I will be reaching out to all of you. So I just wanted to kind of add that to yours, Liliana, to what you said, because the sharing stories is so important. I think that's what's going to make it that people can relate to each other and people can relate to this referendum. Just a few housekeeping notes. We have a few events coming up. December 21st from 5:30 to 7:30. We will have our coffee talk with Nevada Now, Reproductive Freedom for All, and Planned Parenthood, both Nevada, at Brewitt Coffee House. It's downtown on East Bridger Avenue, here in Las Vegas. Come learn about Reproductive Freedom for All ballot measure. If you have any questions, like after this, and you're like, the next day, tomorrow, you're like, oh yeah, like I didn't even think about it. Like this part, I wonder if this would cover and it, like, how you kind of like things just kind of like come up after you've already like had the conversation with someone. Write it down, come have a cup of coffee with us, and let's talk about it. We'll have more information for you. We'll have might find more information, know more on the ballot initiative then than we do now, kind of what the next steps are. Also, December 9th at 11 a.m. at the Spring Valley Library, which is on Jones, a holiday event with Moms in Man Action, a holiday gathering with all of our favorite things, cookies, cocoa, and advocacy. That sounds like delicious and fun. Supporting no racism in schools. We're going to have our winter clothes drive, collecting scarves, gloves, socks, and coats. We call this the fun activism part. One of the big things that Nevada Now is doing is we want to support women in sports. And right now we are hardcore supporting our UNLV Lady Rebels, who just completely kicked butt the other night, and our aces, but they're playing USA basketball right now, so we can't really support them in person, but we still love our girls. And it's important that we don't support from a distance, that we're here to support and take action. December 2nd, they're packing the MAC. So the Lady Rebels will be playing at Thomas and Mack and not the Cox Pavilion. Tickets are like $5. We'll send out an email with some information. Jerry, put that on your notes. And come watch some really good basketball, have some snacks. I'm sure they sell beer there if you like beer. And come support Lady Rebels because it's a fun game. It's a good time. So, and it's like what a fun form of activism is to like come watch some sports, have some food. Like your presence there is so important because the more people come to these games, the more people see that people are coming to watch women play, they're going to get more opportunities. They're going to see like, hey, people are watching, people are coming, people are spending money, which means they're going to get more opportunities. They're going to get to play in bigger spaces. And that is only good for everybody. And it's good for all the little girls who want to play basketball, who want to play soccer, who want to play hockey. So come pack the MAC with us on December 2nd. Tickets are like $5. I think you can go to like UNLV sports stuff. I'm sure if you look it up on Google, it'll come up. I'm going to pass the floor to Sue, our executive director, who's going to give us all the fun pack information. Sue, floor is yours.
Thanks, Laura. Hey, I just want to mention there is a question for our panelists. Is there any outreach plan specifically to OBGYNs and other physicians who specialize in women's healthcare? Okay, I know from before you guys answer, I know from personal experience that when Dobbs was overturned, there were some very prominent OBGYNs that were very much involved in some roundtable discussions that we were involved in. So I have no doubt that they've been involved, but I'm going to ask Luiza and Liliana if you know that for sure.
So for me, I just responded. I've tried to reach out to associations and then the UNRU and UNLV department, but I haven't gotten any responses so far. So if you know of anyone that I could connect with, please let me know. I would love them. I would love to be able to talk to them about what we're doing in our ballot initiative.
Just so everybody knows, this is not the only conversations that's going to happen on this ballot initiative. Oh, good. You do. Okay. Personal. Thank you, Amber. This is not the only conversation. As Laura mentioned, we know everybody will have questions. We're going to continue this. We're going to probably do something at least once a month, if not twice a month, going forward until we hit that number of signatures needed by, I believe it's by the end of June. So this is just the beginning, and we thank you for coming to this initial conversation. So tell your friends, family. Stories are important, even if they're stories from 50 years ago. They are still very much important. So this, like I said, this conversation will continue. I put the Nevada Now email in the chat in case you do come up with any questions. We can, and I know Luiza and Liliana put their emails in there. So please feel free to reach out. There's no such thing as a stupid question. They're all important. And Sandra Cosgrove just put something very important about the ballot question in there. One of my responsibilities, I follow the legislative session, and I am the treasurer for our Political Action Committee, our PAC. We have been endorsing candidates we've been endorsing candidates for a while, but we've had the PAC since 2019. We were very, very aggressive in 2022 with our endorsements. It is just state and local candidates. We don't do any federal candidates. That's left up to national now. But we endorsed 51 candidates last year that are good with our 6 core issues. Just so you know, Nevada Now is a nonpartisan volunteer organization, and we have 6 core issues: constitutional equality, reproductive rights, economic justice, racial justice, LGBTQ, QIA plus rights, and ending violence against all women. We endorse candidates that are good on all 6 of those issues, and we vet them pretty thoroughly. We will start the endorsement process in January. We're working on the questionnaire right now, so if you know of anybody running for office, please let us know. Use that info@Nevada Now email address I put in the chat. Our success rate in 2020, it is 2022. Our success rate in 2022 was 84%, which, if you follow politics at all, that's pretty high. We do a voting guide for the primary and for the general election, so you know any candidate that's on there has been vetted about our issues, and we're really focusing on the reproductive health care. Sorry, I tried to mute myself. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Sue. And if you follow us on social, Nevada Now on Facebook, Nevada Now on Instagram, Nevada Now on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't follow Elon. Follow us. That's where all our information will be put out when we start endorsing. We start sending out the endorsement on candidates. They're all going to go through social media. We're going to be announcing it. So go on there. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to us on social media. That's super easy to get a hold of us there too. Somebody will always answer. Does anybody have any questions for our speakers? Anybody think of anything? Raise your hand. Any hand raises? I don't see any. Okay, cool. But if you, oh, Kathy, I see your hand raised again.
Thanks again. Yeah. I was wondering if the CPCs are religious in nature.
I think they may or may not be. I think I work down the street from one, and I know that it's Catholic based, and I'm pretty sure it's a CPC. Like, I try not to get too close to there so I don't get in trouble, but I think so. Liliana, Luiza, would you guys know by chance?
The ones that I've looked up all seem to have like Christian ties. So yeah, I would say most of them are, because that's kind of their biggest argument. But it is really scary how they are able to trick people into thinking that they're receiving care that they need, rather than just, being honest and letting them know that they're giving them a whole religious spiel. Like, that's one of the scariest thing about that, because people might think that they're actually going there for, just regular care. And the people that work there are, for the most part, not even people who are nurses or registered nurses or anything of that sort. So it's really, really dangerous for anyone that might be seeking any sort of care, whether it be abortion care or not. It's very, very dangerous.
I was just wondering, because we've got one of those in the town that I live in, and my town is pretty small. It's like under 10,000 people. And
where do you live?
Fallon, Nevada.
Okay.
It's about an hour outside of Reno, in the middle of the sagebrush.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's maybe we can share, I don't know, definitely share, if you want to put your email, we gave it to Luiza. We can give you some other resources that if you know anybody who needs any care, they could use those instead of accidentally going to one of those CPCs, because that again that is really, really scary. And
one of the things that this referendum is going to do that's going to be very important for people that live in rural areas is that it's not just going to be doctors that are going to be able to provide abortion care. It's also going to be registered nurses. So again, when this referendum goes through, it's going to be impactful for not just people that live in large cities, but also people that are in rural towns.
Thank you, Liliana. Anybody else? And thank you, Kathy, for your question, because that's a good question. CPCs aren't really, I feel like they're kind of brushed under the rug sometimes. So anytime we can bring them up and kind of bring light to the bad that they do is always good. Anybody else have any questions?
Laura, I just want to say one thing. I don't know if anybody mentioned this, but this this initiative not only has to get on the ballot in 2024, but it will and pass, but it'll have to be on the ballot again in 2026 before it takes effect as any kind of an amendment.
And by the time we get to 2026, we're all going to be experts.
But it's still important to get that
Yes.
that first one, get it on the ballot,
Yes.
and then get it passed.
Yes, yes, it is very important. You're right, Sue. If nobody has any more questions, we'll give everybody just another second if anyone thinks of anything. But if you don't have a question now and you do think of one in the next day or so, please come to our coffee talk. That'll be the best place to get the next best place to get your question answered. And everybody has an invitation, free coffee on us. I like a latte too, vanilla latte. Remember that? With oat milk.
And also I wanted to mention that Luiza is flying down from Reno, so you'll get to meet Luiza and Liliana in person, as well as Nevada Now members. So
Excited to have coffee with you all.
No, that'll be it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time. And if anybody, so one more second, if anybody has a question, if not, they're going to come to Brew It and ask it then, right?
Let's give them a minute. If there's any emails you want to copy down from the chat, do so now.
Follow us on all
yeah.
socials.
Kathy, I would definitely suggest taking Luiza's email address down and emailing Luiza directly.
And
Her
then
and I, Sue, her and I are on speed dial.
Oh,
well then, okay then.
There you go. And we'll send out the recording. So if you have a friend who didn't make the program or, want us to share with someone, you can send it out to them too. And we'll have an email that comes out.
We have one more question. We have our hand raised. Leanne, floor is yours.
I just wanted to say I put my email in the chat. So as executive director of the Nevada chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, I can sign on to the coalition statement, some kind of sign-on letter, as long as it's keeping within the American Academy of Pediatrics policy on abortion, which is pretty broad, right? The national conference I just attended in October had several sessions encouraging general pediatricians to learn how to give medical abortions to adolescent patients.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's so awesome. That's amazing. Wow. Thank you so much. And thank you for being on this call. That's great. Oh, that's
Leanne, do you have anything to add besides that to this conversation since you're coming?
Only that getting individual physicians to do things in their own name sometimes can be difficult if they work for institutions that are afraid of losing any kind of government funding. That said, I can usually get our chapter vice president that I'm married to sign letters, our co-byline op-eds if that's necessary. So yeah, contact me.
That's why we love Leanne.
And I just wanted to say, as the father of 4 strong women in Nevada, that I'm super excited this group is together. And it's not just about the women, it's about the men too that need to engage this. So thank you guys very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up about men, because if you read the initiative, it covers everything. I mean, literally everything. It's not.
Covers tube ligation. Not tube ligation. Sorry, vasectomies.
Well, it also includes vasectomies, but in vitro, postpartum, everything that has a very much so an effect on the partner and the entire family. So yeah, thank you for being here and thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you guys. This is great. Can't wait to listen to the next presentation. Love you guys.
Come the December 21st. We would like to meet you in person.
We'll be there.
Bring the family.
Yeah. I was also going to say, if you look at NV4reprofreedom.org and look on the bottom, the crawl, that shows all the organizations that have signed on. So we've got a really good coalition of people working, just like we did with the state ERA. But if you know somebody who wants to get involved and isn't on there, that would be a good start to. The more we are working together, make this easier to do. So
I will also mention, if you know of an organization that might want, some a presentation from either Luiza or Liliana or from us at Nevada Now to, start that education process on this ballot initiative, you know, we'll gladly do that. We're trying real hard to get onto college campuses. We did a presentation to a group on Thursday that was very well received. We hope to do more of, and I think we did one on Wednesday too. We want to do more of that. So I know there's lots of organizations on college campuses, and I know there's tons of organizations around town. And that's both in Northern Nevada and in Southern Nevada. So, because Zoom is the best. So if you know of anybody, the earlier we start the education process, the easier it's going to be to get those signatures. So that's really what we're looking for. I think, Kathy, you have another question?
Yes, I do. One of the main reasons that I attended today was to find out what the exact languaging of the amendment will be. Is there somewhere I can get that info?
Yeah, there's actually a link in the chat there that Sandra Cosgrove put in that takes you straight to the Secretary of State's website where the ballot initiative is.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, the first link I put in is just like the rules for doing a ballot question. I'm going to drop the link that takes you directly to the petitions right now.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Sandra. You can find them a whole lot faster than I can.
Oh, she already did it.
There you go, Kat. Well, she was right there. I know how Sandra has her windows up. I know she had it right there. So there you go, Kathy, and anybody else that's interested. But the sooner we get the education out there, because the signatures have to come from all 4 congressional districts. So that includes Northern Nevada and that congressional district that I will not name. So it has to have 25% of the signatures has to come from each of the congressional districts. So we have to make sure we include Northern Nevada as well as our 3 congressional districts down here. So that is why your zip code is important. I think, as Liliana mentioned.
And Luiza, I think you might have mentioned it already, but have we told people how if they want to get involved with the campaign? I know they're hiring some people for getting the ballot signatures and the offices and stuff.
I think they're still working on the job description. So once I have copies of those, I can send that out to everyone as well.
And it'll probably be on the website, right? The NV for Reproductive Freedom once.
I think the only thing that we have right now is for the campaign manager position, which is going to be the person will be helping with us with the signature gathering. But I think there'll be more opportunities. So once I get more of those job descriptions, I'll send those out. But I think there's only one that's currently on our website right now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Great. And if anybody thought of any questions, we'll give about 30 seconds for you to raise your hand. If not, we will conclude this Zoom meeting. Sharon, go ahead. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So I'd like to know if there's anyone that I can talk to that's one of the organizers. I have a book called Taking the War Out of Our Words, and I work with a process I developed called Powerful Non-Defensive Communication. And based on research and what I originally wrote in my book, there's a whole process of when we believe in something and then we get a little bit urgent. That urgency actually prompts the mechanism in the other person's brain to shut down and go to fight or flight. And there's some really simple changes that can be made. I made 4 simple changes in how we ask questions, give feedback to others, express our own feelings, and create boundaries. So I would be interested in talking to whoever is interested about the possibility of sharing some of what we've discovered. I mean, and those changes are so powerful. I mean, I have people who have stopped a rape with 1 question. And just with the simple changes in how the wording. So when we feel urgent about something, and believe me, I'm one of those people that can be screaming at Trump on the TV. So I'm not like just sort of calm all the time. But the impact is really huge, because even if someone's already defensive and they know what you're going to talk to them about and they don't want to hear it, that those changes actually, whenever somebody feels they have to protect themselves or someone else or even an idea, then the complex problem solving part of the brain actually shuts down completely and you go straight to fight or flight. But these 4 changes actually prompt people and to autonomically, I mean, somebody that's being an asshole doesn't have to decide not to be an asshole anymore. Pardon my English. But it can autonomically bring people out of fight or flight, so they're more able to hear. So I think the more of us that can be making some of those changes when we're out there trying, and I'll have a video pretty soon. I'm doing some work with some of the politicians on the East Coast. But anyway, so if any one of you that's in the organization of this want to give me contact information or want to talk to me about it, or
Sharon, why don't you put your information in the chat for us?
Okay.
And then yeah, then we can figure out, you know, if you do that, because we keep the chat. That'd be absolutely, it sounds very interesting. I run across them.
Oh shoot, I always forget. I put my name and then I hit return to type on the next line. So I'll do it over.
No worries.
Is it of interest to you? I mean, what I'm saying, is it something you think could?
It sounds interesting. You can send some information to the info@nevadanow.org and we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
But I wanted your contact information too.
Yes, I'll give it to you, and I'll give my phone number too.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Sharon, for sharing. I mean, Sharon for sharing.
I'm just so tickled that there were so many new people here. This probably was one of our faster meetings.
I did,
but incredibly informative. I'm sorry, Sharon, what?
Oh, I was going to say, one of the other things is some years ago, Gloria Steinem asked me to do sound bites, and at the time I had just gotten involved in politics, and I didn't do as well as I thought, but I think even the way that we phrase what we're going to say to somebody can make this really, really huge difference. And if any of you are interested, I did sound bites for the last election, and I actually did one on Adam Laxall's statement about abortion, in ways that we can present that, and never mind.
No, please send that to info@nevadanow.org. Please do.
What did you say?
Please send that over to us via email at info@nevadanow.org, and Jerry can share that with the board.
Which thing are you talking about?
info@nevadanow.org is our general mailbox, but we all read it.
Whatever you can send us, like your sound bites, your book, like your contact information, go ahead and send that all to us.
I will, and I'll send you some information too from other people that I have done training, who are doing canvassing and stuff like that.
Adana's got a question, Jerry, that I'm going to throw right to you, because I'm assuming she's asking about the federal Equal Rights Amendment, since we already have the Nevada State Equal Rights Amendment. Jerry is our expert on the federal ERA. That's a whole nother thing. Jerry, she wanted to know what was happening with the Equal Rights Amendment.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was just going to ask a question. So as most of you know, but Nevada, on the federal level, we were working on the Equal Rights Amendment. Nevada got the ball rolling again and ratified. We were the 36th state. And thanks to Senator Pat Spearman. And then it was Illinois and Virginia. And the archivist's job is to publish the ERA once we get the 38th state, but they didn't. It was a guy at the time. Now there's a woman in charge, and she still won't either. Trump instructed the archivist not to publish. So now we're pushing Biden to publish the ERA. So it's stuck right now. So that's why when the Senator Spearman and Senator Canizaro decided we need a state ERA, and that's what a lot of the states are going state by state to put equal rights amendments in their constitutions. That's why it was so important we do it here. But we're still working on it and still pushing Biden to publish it.
All right, I think that's a wrap.
That is. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
I look
you.
forward to seeing
Thank
everyone.
you very much.
Talks.
Hope to see you at the next program in person.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving,
you.
everybody. Enjoy whatever you do.
Okay.
Time
Thank
with
you.
family and friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Good to see
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you again, y'all. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.